A comic shop owner told me the one graphic novel artist that just moved the needle every single time during when they put out one of these independent works is Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. And sure enough, this is like the only appointment reading I have on the mainstream industry. If this comes out, I read it day of. A little behind on making a review, guys, but this is something that is just absolutely running circles around the quality of anything else we're finding in comic shops, and this is something I wanted to look at. Now, when I saw this and I saw the little blurb about it, and it talked about satanic panic, you can kind of see this on the Amazon page, I was a little skeptical about this one. I was like, okay, riveting horror, and here it is, the new tale. An FBI agent from a cult crime beat and a woman with a past link to the satanic panic are drawn to a terrifying hunt for an insane killer during the hiding in the shadows of the underworld. This pulse-pounding story asks, can you ever escape your past, or are all your bad decisions just more ghosts to haunt you, whatever you do? And so I thought, you know what, I'm probably not going to like this, because if they're going to just attack Christians and the like, I've seen that so much from the mainstream industry. But I was pleasantly surprised. He had a different take, didn't go off on a tangent about just religious people are crazy or anything like that. And that's a big, big thing for talking about this book. So let's get into this in just a second. My name's John Delarose, everybody, and I am an independent comic creator myself. I would love for you to check out my book, The Hidden Emperor. This is a sci-fi graphic novel, totally standalone, independent. It does take place after Overmind, which was a graphic novel that came out with a couple years ago. Got tremendous reviews. We just had Blaine Pardo from BattleTech give me a great quote saying I'm a great storyteller, and I appreciate him for doing so. I'd love for you to come in on doing this and checking this out. It is in the description below. I appreciate you guys for supporting independent comics, and gosh, we're killing it so far. This is our second best-selling graphic novel of all time already, and we got a long ways to go. Please back it today. Get us there. Make us number one. I appreciate you for your support. Okay. So this one starts out, and there's like a mystery brewing about like the past of this gal here, and she as a child, like I guess her mom was like very hardcore religious and warned about Satan all the time. And she ended up going to like a therapist who manipulated her into thinking that like there was a satanic ritual being done at a camp. And she called these people out on a satanic ritual. I guess somebody died, and she was a part of that. Now, oddly enough, all the children who were involved in that at the time are now getting killed one by one across the country, and they're trying to figure this out. And an FBI agent runs across her. She's now bringing back a runaway to her parents in this situation. And she's that's where this whole thing starts. So you can see it's got a very stylized noir thing, even to start. The colors are there. It's just like very muted colors across. I love the way that they do the colors on these things. Sean Phillips' art, it's really just the coolest stuff out there. There's a lot of minimalism to it, but it's also got a ton of detail at the same time. It's hard to explain, but it's perfect. And I really love just every aspect of the art and storytelling throughout this entire thing. When she checks into this lodge, this is when the story kind of begins, and you get to see some different things here. I can't show the whole thing. I know I often do reviews where I actually place the graphic novel up. There is a little bit of nudity later on in the story, but as she goes and starts to track down these people who are getting killed one by one, she realizes that it's somebody closer to her than she might have thought to begin with. So the storytelling is very, very fast-paced. You care about the characters. Like usual, it's a character who's like kind of down on their luck, and it's a very noiry, pulpy. Ed Brubaker. It has a dark tone to it always, and I don't typically like dark tones. That's the thing. When I don't like characters that are so deeply flawed that I'm like not really invested in them as a hero. But for some reason, he makes it work. I mean, it just really, to me, speaks to his testament as a storyteller that even though that's not my typical modus operandi of something I like, that he does make it work here. Now, like always, there's a twist involved in this. She ends up back at the spot where the cave was, where they had the whole satanic ritual to begin with, and it looks like there's a different one going on. And like I said, it's very interestingly done. in a way that like it doesn't harp on the religious elements of it, like saying the religion's bad. And that's the one thing that really could have been its downfall here. And they were very clear that wasn't the case, and which is actually some weird people who get some occulty ideas themselves, and the Satanism really is a problem that ends up being part of the result here without spoiling too much. And so there is a huge twist involved that's a very personal connection for the main character. And like I said, the other main character is an FBI agent who we learn is actually kind of a disgraced FBI agent who's like lost his badge and the like once he gets into this. I don't think it's actually shown in the previews here. He's not. He shows up a little after this scene. And he kind of lied to her, and we learned a little bit more about him going on. They have a brief, fleeting romance, which is more a physical sort of thing than anything long-lasting. And we learn his reasons for being interested and connected to this, which the real FBI really doesn't want to get involved with. So the characters are both very interesting. I like them both. They get together, they separate, they go on their investigations. It gets pretty interesting and very, very intense down the line. This is something that you just can't put down because the stakes just keep raising on a personal level. And it goes to show you don't need like a world-ending stakes or whatever for a good story. It just has to be personal. It has to connect with the characters. You have to care about the characters. And that's what Brubaker makes you do every single time. Good stuff. A 9 out of 10 from me overall. And definitely an enjoyable graphic novel this year from Brubaker and Phillips. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. And please back The Hidden Emperor on Kickstarter. I really appreciate you guys for being there and checking this out.